Hi, everyone. Welcome to U360's internship class of 2021 student capstone competition. I'm Nadia Elise, the Director of Diversity and Belonging and Special Assistant to the President at Manomet. Many of you know us for our work in shorebird in bird research and conservation, but we use science and collaboration to strengthen flyways, coastal ecosystems, and working lands and seas across the Western Hemisphere, and work together with many partners to help nature and local communities thrive. The past 5 decades, Manomet has also served as a research education resource for local, national, and international students. Our belief that education is one of the best tools to create long-term change led us to create U360's Business Sustainability Internship 5 years ago, which is an experiential education and professional development program. U360 is preparing the next generation of change makers to tackle the environmental, social, and economic challenges we face by training them to bring sustainability to their future workplaces. Michelle Obama once said that success isn't about how much money you make, it's about the difference you make in people's lives. And although we know this work will not be easy at times, we hope that our focus on science and collaboration will inspire the next generation of environmentalists to pursue creative solutions, especially on the big problems like climate change facing our society. The climate crisis in particular has disproportionately impacted younger generation, Black, Indigenous, and people of color or BIPOC in underrepresented communities. Manomet firmly believes that these populations must play a role in producing equitable and creative strategies that will respond effectively to climate change. We see an opportunity to offer this educational experience to a broader audience through strategic partnerships with universities and educational nonprofits. And this year's U360 class includes 30 students from colleges from throughout the East Coast. We're pleased to announce that it was our largest class ever, with students from diverse backgrounds. We're very excited about our plans to grow this program in the coming years. All that being said, I'd like to now congratulate all of this year's graduates from the program. We'll have an opportunity to meet them later throughout the program. I would also like to say on this day, which marks 1-year anniversary of the murder of George Floyd, that even though we've all faced challenges, big and small, from racial injustices on top of dealing with the COVID-19 pandemic, we're pleased to say that now there's a little bit more hope. And as the world is turning a corner, we're starting to see a little bit of light at the end of a very long tunnel. And today, especially, has brought us joy. We're all going to witness the wonderful work from this impressive class. We've really enjoyed having them a part of our organization. So on the behalf of Manomet, I'd like to wish not only our students, our capstone winners, the best of luck, but all of the students on today's webinar. We know you'll do great. And without further ado, I'd like to turn things over to Laura Babb, the director of U360's internship program.
Thank you so much, Nadia, and thank you all for joining us today for our U360 virtual capstone competition. With this culminating event, we conclude a 2-week competition, bring another amazing U360 year to a close, and celebrate all of the exceptional students who participated in our business sustainability internship this year. We will also see one student named Manomet's Next Generation Scholar for 2021 after watching our 3 finalists present their sustainability action plans for a small business to a panel of judges. But before I introduce today's presenting students to you and we start hearing their perspectives on sustainability, I'd like to take a few minutes to tell you more about U360 and exactly what all of our students have done with us at Manomet this year. Today's younger generation is the largest in history and known as the climate change generation. They will be disproportionately impacted by today's environmental, social, and economic challenges, of which there are many. With their futures affected the most, the next generation must be actively engaged and trained to make our world more sustainable. One primary way college students can be part of the solution is through their future careers and workplaces. And students from all disciplines, not just environmental majors, must be prepared to tackle today's urgent sustainability issues. We need increased participation from young people with diverse backgrounds who have the ability to create sustainability solutions that they can bring to any job or industry. However, college students often lack the real-world understanding of practical sustainability, as well as the soft skills employers most seek and are needed to be effective change makers. They need to know how to work with people who think differently from them and how to create practical solutions, and must possess the professional and interpersonal skills necessary to engage others in problem solving. These things cannot be learned through coursework alone. As such, U360 is designed to give college students experience in 3 areas that are vital to solving today's complex sustainability challenges and that are not taught in the classroom. The first is career skills, specifically the ones employers most seek, like professionalism, teamwork, communication skills, creative problem solving, strategic thinking, and a strong work ethic. The second is an understanding of practical applied business sustainability. Students leave U360 equipped with an extensive real-world understanding of both business management and how sustainability practices can help a company make money, save money, and reduce risks, in addition to being good for the planet and society. And the third is the ability to work with people who think differently from them. Solving complex challenges like climate change requires bringing people to the table with different viewpoints, knowledge, and experience. And U360 teaches college students how to do just that. U360 is a 2-semester experiential education and professional development program. The curriculum begins with 6 weeks of educational workshops and skills trainings focused on business sustainability principles, professional communication, time and project management, interview skills, and professional ethics. For the next 20 weeks, each student reaches out to approximately 150 small and medium-sized businesses of their choosing to request an interview about their current practices. Each student interviews up to 30 of those businesses and administers Manomet's small business sustainability assessment of their environmental, social, and governance practices. During the fall semester, the students interviewed a wide variety of businesses, and in the spring semester, each student chose an industry, topic, or business demographic to focus on, and interviewed all businesses within that sector. After every interview, the business's data are analyzed, and I follow up with the businesses to give them their sustainability scores and access to our online toolkit that they can use to improve their practices. And a significant percentage say it's likely they'll make changes to their practices as a result of that interview. The 6 million small businesses in this country have a large collective environmental footprint, but are often overlooked and underserved when it comes to sustainability efforts. With time, financial, and resource constraints, small businesses have many barriers that can make it challenging to prioritize sustainability. U360 gives them the opportunity to evaluate their overall sustainability, many for the first time, while gaining tools to help them increase the overall health of their business. And for our students, this direct engagement with business owners provides them with the majority of their experiential education and professional development in U360. And then during the last month of the program, each student creates a sustainability action plan for one business they interviewed with customized, highly researched, feasible recommendations for how the business could improve its sustainability practices. But more on that in a bit. After creating their action plans, each student presents theirs to 2 U360 alumni judges, and a video recording is made of the presentation. The videos are then entered into the preliminary judging round, where a panel of sustainable business professionals view, evaluate, and score the presentations on several different criteria. The students who receive the top 3 scores in that round advance to our final competition, the event we're all here for today. Since piloting U360 in January of 2016 with just 3 students from the University of Southern Maine, the program has grown and expanded substantially. And this year, we expanded the program outside of New England for the first time with new partner schools in New Jersey, New York, and South Carolina. Over the past 5 years, 114 students have participated in the program from 25 universities throughout the East Coast. And these students have engaged over 1,250 small businesses from all 50 states and 2 other countries, Canada and the Bahamas. This was actually the first year that students interviewed businesses outside of the US and that was a milestone we were super excited to reach. We're also very proud that U360 is helping to foster women leaders in business and STEM, as over 75% of the students who have participated in the program are female. This year, 30 students enrolled from 19 colleges, making this year's class our largest ever. Over the past 2 semesters, 469 small businesses from 39 states, 3 provinces, 3 countries, and Washington, D.C. had conversations with our students about their current sustainability. Not only is that twice as many businesses as we've ever had participate in one year, but that happened during a pandemic that so deeply impacted small businesses, which makes that number all the more impressive. We also had 2 students, Charlotte Del Cole and Julia Iannuzzi, tie for the most number of interviews and set a new record, U360 record this year with 33 interviews each. Again, the purpose of U360 is to train and prepare the next generation to tackle the complex sustainability challenges that will most impact their futures. As such, the program is focused entirely on giving college students the real-world experience and the personal and professional development they need to be effective change makers. Our U360 students learn firsthand how dozens of different small businesses operate, gain vital career skills and meaningful work experience, see how the principles they're learning in school are applied in the real world, and develop the tools necessary to create a more sustainable world. Most importantly, they learn how to have hard conversations with people who think differently from them, find common ground, and create feasible solutions that make the world a better place. But the students wouldn't be able to achieve the educational or professional development objectives of U360 without the generosity of business owners and other professionals who give their valuable time to the students. People like our esteemed guests today who will serve as judges in our competition. Every year, our panel of judges is composed of 2 professionals in the business, sustainability, and/or higher education fields, and the winner from our previous year's capstone. I'm pleased to introduce you all now to our panel of judges for today's competition. First, we have Scot Case, the Vice President of Corporate Social Responsibility and Sustainability for the National Retail Federation. The National Retail Federation is the world's largest retail trade association. Every day, NRF stands up for, celebrates, educates, and inspires the people who power the retail industry. Scot leads NRF's corporate social responsibility and sustainability practice. A former strategy consultant who has been working on sustainability issues since the mid-1990s, Scot develops winning strategies and successful solutions for complex global challenges. He makes it possible for individuals and organizations to thrive in a rapidly changing future. He has worked with organizations ranging from the White House, World Bank, Walmart, Johnson & Johnson, Disney, McDonald's, the US EPA, and federal, state, and local governments around the world. Scot has also published dozens of articles and case studies, has testified before Congress, has been quoted in several media outlets, and was highlighted in an Emmy Award-winning documentary on sustainable purchasing. Scot is zooming in today from outside of Reading, Pennsylvania, where he lives with his wife and 2 daughters. Welcome, Scot. Next, we have Victoria Marino, the Director of Career Services at Hudson County Community College. Tori has been a proud Jersey City resident since arriving there in December 2014. In late 2018, she was given the opportunity to invest more directly in her community by serving Hudson County Community College students on their career journey as the Director of Career Services. Tori strongly believes that everyone deserves employment in which they are productive, feel purpose in their life, and can prosper. Tori's own higher education journey began at the local community college in her birthplace of Middletown, New York. Since then, she has earned 2 master's degrees and brings over 13 years of experience in the social service and workforce development fields. As a licensed mental health counselor, she worked with at-risk youth and their families. Tori has led programs that provided job coaching and placement services to those receiving federal benefits. And Tori's desire to have an impact on a systemic level prompted her to return to school for her MBA in sustainability at Bard College. Her education and experience have reinforced the belief that institutions can be managed with an integrated triple bottom line. economic success, environmental integrity, and social equity. Tori brings these values to her life and leadership, and she is deeply committed to serving her community to ensure everyone's voice is heard, represented, and actualized. Welcome, Tori. And our third judge today, we are excited to welcome back Katherine Berry, one of our 2020 Next Generation Scholars from last year's U360 class. Katherine graduated from Colby College in 2020 with a Bachelor's of Arts in Environmental Policy. She has always had an interest in sustainable food systems, especially after doing her senior capstone on organic dairy farming in Maine, coupled with her U360 focus on businesses within the food system. The summer after graduating, Katherine moved to Portland, Maine because of the natural beauty and outdoor access, as well as the bustling environment of ocean and land-based farming. She has since been working at Wolf's Neck Center for Agriculture Environment as a researcher on the Bovine Burp Buster project, looking to see if adding seaweed to a cow's diet will reduce their methane emissions. Katherine is excited for a beautiful Maine summer spent on the farm. Welcome, Katherine. As I mentioned, so now on to the competition. Yes. So as I mentioned, each of these students will present their sustainability action plan for one business they interviewed this year. To maintain the confidentiality promised to the businesses, the students will not be specifying the business's name or exact location. They'll give biographical information about the business and then present recommendations to improve its long-term viability, all of which must be highly researched, practical, feasible, and most importantly, beneficial to the business's bottom line. They will also specify 2 recommendations they see as the highest priorities for the business to implement. These students will demonstrate how strong environmental, social, and governance practices can help a business thrive and prosper in a natural world in business landscapes that are rapidly changing, while also attracting, engaging, and retaining talent and customers in the process. Following each presentation, the judges will ask the student questions to defend their action plan. The students will be evaluated on their answers to those questions, their presentation skills, and on the quality of their recommendations. They will also be judged on the case they make for how their action plan will benefit the business and increase its resiliency to the external threats most threatening its long-term success. A reminder that even though the students can't see or hear all of you out there watching, you can still cheer them on and applaud them in the virtual space. If you feel so inspired, please feel free to use the chat feature to share your support and accolades. But please wait to do so until after the student has finished their Q&A with the judges, so as not to distract them with notifications popping up during their presentation. After the final presentation, the judges will go to a private Zoom space to select the student who will be named Manomet's Next Generation Scholar for 2021 and win a $1,000 scholarship, along with our first and second runners-up who will receive $500 and $250 scholarships respectively. While the judges are deliberating, you'll have the opportunity to meet the entire class of 2021 as all of our students introduce themselves to you and share what they've learned this year about how to affect environmental and social change. Then around 5:15, our winner will be announced. And if any of you in the audience would like to talk with our students or myself after the event ends, please stick around after my closing remarks and we will enable your audio. Now, before I introduce the first student presenter, I want to say how impressive, passionate, and knowledgeable all of the students are that I had the privilege of working with this year. I'd like you all to take a second and think about yourself at their age and ask yourself, could you have ever called up business owners and interviewed them? And could you have done what our 3 finalists are about to do? The confidence and humility they've gained and the personal growth I've witnessed them experience is quite astonishing and incredibly inspiring. And I can't talk about how proud I am of this year's class without mentioning the global crisis we've all been living through. To say that COVID has greatly impacted college students' lives and experiences would be a gross understatement. Some of my students have been off campus and taking remote classes from home since last March. Others have been on campus and dealing with the stress of regular testing, restrictions on what they can do and who they can see, quarantine housing, and more. And as many of you may know, we've also seen a student mental health crisis this year with recent studies showing that over 70% of students reported an increase in stress and anxiety due to COVID. And yet, through all of that, the students you'll meet today kept showing up, kept giving full effort to this program, and they kept seeking to learn how they can make the world a better place. The level of grace, maturity, courage, and resilience I saw in these students as they face the countless unprecedented challenges that have come with this pandemic has been astounding. And I, like everyone, have also experienced the stress and challenges of the pandemic this year. But working with these students provides me with a constant source of hope and optimism, and it has been a powerful antidote to the feelings of fear, discouragement, and powerlessness that come with all of the multiple crises we're dealing with today. Getting to know these remarkable young adults, watching them face and overcome so much adversity this year, and still remain so committed to fighting the crises facing their generation and creating the future they want, has been more inspiring than I could possibly describe. I assure you all that our future will be in excellent hands as this generation starts to take the reins. It's been an honor teaching and mentoring these students all year, and it is my pleasure to welcome them to the ever-growing community of incredible young changemakers that is the U360 alumni group. You'll have a chance to meet all of them shortly, but first we have a competition to conduct. So without further ado, I would like to introduce Alex Savage. Alex was a senior this year and just graduated from Kean University with a marketing degree. He is originally from Colonia, New Jersey, and this spring, Alex's chosen focus was all types of businesses related to the home. As a now graduate, Alex plans to pursue a job within the product marketing and market research field while completing online certificate programs to advance his skill set. And here's a video of Alex back in September sharing what he was most excited about as an incoming U360 intern.
Hi, my name is Alex Savage. I'm a senior at Kean University in New Jersey studying business marketing. I'm so excited to be working with U360 this year because I'll be able to communicate with a diverse array of small business owners around the country, along with me just getting to learn more about sustainability and how it aligns with corporate social responsibility.
All right. And now Alex will present his sustainability action plan for a commercial real estate company in the Midwest.
The business I'm focusing on is a commercial real estate company located in the Midwest. It was founded in 2017 and is made up of nearly 250 employees with 12 principals. The business, however, is split up into separate divisions, and the division that I am focusing on is their commercial brokerage, which has 25 employees in total. The business has made efforts to minimize environmental waste by participating in a local recycling program and by reducing the need of printing by utilizing digital formats for documents. Compared to many real estate firms whose agents are typically only independent contractors, the employees of this company receive benefits, bonuses, paid time off, and a retirement plan as well. Employees are also encouraged to take initiatives to improve the workplace culture in which they are recognized and rewarded for new ideas, solutions, or internal processes that are implemented into the workplace. Competition for clients due to the effects of demand brought on by COVID-19 poses a threat for this business. Similarly, COVID has affected the daily work culture of real estate agents in this industry. The supply of commercial properties has increased, but demand has decreased. Within the immediate radius, there are more than 200 properties up for sale or lease. Nearly 500 businesses have closed, and there have been a few thousand less than 600,000 cases of coronavirus within this state. In reference to the local competition, there are 48 real estate firms within the area that offer similar service offerings. This business currently communicates their policies for human resources, diversity, and harassment verbally for their employees. Communicating workforce policies verbally may not be as effective, and an employee's comprehension and understanding cannot be measured solely through verbal communication. That is why I recommend this business translates their policies into a written format. They can also take it a step further by making their handbook a signable PDF, which can then be sent back to top management as a receipt of confirmation. This would ensure that employees have read and understood policies and expectations. Policies will also be clear and understandable. It will also be accessible to employees to be reviewed whenever necessary. Most importantly, it will help to reduce easily avoidable workplace risks and create a positive work culture. Additionally, with employees working from home part of the time, workplace expectations and procedures may possibly be overlooked. And I assume there's a possibility that some policies may have required changes when transitioning to a remote setting. The business currently performs informal one-on-one meetings for employees, but does not carry out formal yearly performance reviews. This can be a possible missed opportunity for employees to take feedback. Yearly reviews also provide employees with an understanding of how their work effort contributes to the overall goals of the business. These reviews can be implemented by use of a 360-degree feedback system. This system involves evaluating an employee's performance by that employee's circle of influence. This includes a self-appraisal, feedback from management and coworkers, as well as a client review. This review system would increase the individual's awareness of their performance and allows the employees to identify their own areas of strength and weakness. Peer reviews can identify how well an employee is working in a collaborative situation, and positive feedback from others, particularly clients, can increase worker morale. Evaluation can also facilitate the need or opportunity for coaching or external career development. And overall, it can promote engagement and feedback in the work culture on a daily basis. The president of the business expressed interest in air purifiers. Therefore, I recommend that they invest in energy efficient purifiers for their office space. The floor plan of the office is open, mainly composed of cubicles, and is approximately 5,500 square feet in size. Additionally, the entire building has an HVAC system. One potential purifier that they can look into based on their office size is the Medify MA112 model, which is an Energy Star certified medical grade air purifier that utilizes an HEPA air filter. Air purifiers are known to eliminate indoor pollutants, chemicals, pollen, bacteria, and viruses such as the common cold, flu, and potentially even COVID-19. Air purifiers are also said to make individuals more empathetic. Effectively, the health benefits can reduce possible absenteeism by decreasing the risk of employees getting sick, which then boosts overall productivity. Developing direct outreach and networking programs for local businesses and upcoming companies can prove to be beneficial for this business. Currently, they are very active on social media by posting about the notable achievements of both the business itself and individual employees. However, there is more that they can do to connect with others and reach out to the community. Some ways that this can be achieved is by engaging in local events, reaching out to upcoming businesses and owners through LinkedIn, sending direct mail advertisements, and even starting a blog aimed at local businesses to convey information about things such as local laws impacting businesses in the area, the state's economic outlook for the coming year, and business tips specific to that area along with their current properties up for sale. More outreach may be needed in order to create a relationship with the business community, as well as considering both the impacts of COVID and the high number of competitors. So awareness is important in order to optimize sales leads at this time. Direct outreach tactics can increase lead generation by up to 9%. It builds and increases client relationship management and helps to develop a competitive advantage among other firms by establishing a relationship within the existing community. While the business has its own Vimeo account with video resources, short virtual tours, and aerial view videos of their listed properties, the videos are slightly difficult to locate on the company's website. With consideration to local competition, this can be a possible disadvantage compared to businesses that do market their virtual tours and make them easily accessible. The business can either adjust their own website in-house or hire a web developer so that there is a dedicated page for video resources. Or they can even provide links to in-depth recorded tours directly within each applicable listing's description, such as how they are doing with some of their aerial views of the exterior of the properties. Efficient marketing of recorded tours by making them more accessible can provide competitive advantage and help incentivize a potential client to inquire about a property. Additionally, virtual tours and walkthroughs help to minimize environmental impacts from transportation. These tours would give the business an advantage over other firms both during and after the pandemic by adapting to and further innovating an emerging practice. While this business can benefit from all 5 of these recommendations, the following 2 seem the most appropriate to prioritize. A 360-degree review system is important not just because the business doesn't currently perform yearly performance evaluations, but because it creates a culture of openness, empowers leaders and employees, increases employee accountability, and in relation to COVID, it would give the business itself an opportunity to measure worker productivity and engagement when working from home. In one study which sampled employees' experiences working from home, 55% of respondents felt that they are less productive, and 35% stated that they feel more productive but less engaged. This system will open the door for the business to make organizational and strategic changes to further support employees working from home, both by delivering and receiving feedback. It also tackles the current challenge that COVID-19 has had on the daily work culture. Strategic and competitive marketing will keep the business in touch with both current and prospective clients. Marketing tours to be more accessible on the website can be accomplished with a combination of creative web design and search engine optimization tactics. Virtual tours are expected to stick around after COVID because they provide convenience for both the agents and buyers, and because it eliminates excess travel. With the combination of these 5 recommendations, the internal and external threats can be managed and adapted to in the face of COVID-19. My 2 prioritized recommendations in particular are the most feasible in terms of financial cost and involvement. They provide benefits that would also open up further opportunities for increasing demand and advancing over competitors, as well as making more changes surrounding sustainability in their daily work culture for years to come.
Uh-oh, Alex, I was the first judge to bounce in. You might be in trouble. Katherine, Tori, how would you like to do this? Who wants to throw the first egg?
I have a couple questions. I'm ready to go if you need a second to gather your brain. Alex, great job. And I do appreciate how your prioritized recommendations were a balance of focusing on internal employees as well as external strategies to engage the market. I have a question about the 360s. I love 360 reviews. I think they make a lot of sense. I was wondering if in your research you came across other interventions beyond a yearly review, meaning like focusing on middle management to have more ongoing coaching conversations for improvement as close to real time as possible instead of at the annual review time.
I did only focus on a yearly review only because they currently are doing one-on-one informal reviews with their employees. That is a very good thing to consider though, but I did not do research into that.
Okay, thank you. And then as a follow-up, I think this is probably applicable to most of your recommendations, but since I understand you were focusing on a specific division, do you find that these recommendations are probably replicatable across the entire company beyond the division?
I believe most of them can be, mostly since the business is heavily service-based. The focus on sustainability has to be between the customers and the employees. So there is a heavy focus on social.
Great, thank you.
Katherine, you want to jump in or you want me to go? Go for it.
Yeah, I'm happy to jump in. Alex, great job. You have very good public speaking skills, and I know that's very hard on Zoom, so great job with that. So 2 of your recommendations, the marketing tours and direct outreach, seem like larger communications roles. So did you see those two business sustainability recommendations as being added to already existing positions within the company, or adding in 2 new or 1 new position? And then if you've done a cost benefit analysis of how that will look for the company.
I believe that can be implemented with current employees in the company. Looking at the cost of the editing the website to feature those virtual tours, if they were to hire a web developer, the cost to calculate that is a little hard to difficult to calculate. I apologize. Only because there's a lot of factors that have to go into the process of that, particularly how the web developer is charging. They could be by the hour, it could be by a fixed cost. There are also many web developers that charge a very extensive price for a website from scratch. However, I just want to reiterate that I'm just merely asking them to add 1 feature to their website, which should not be as involved as creating an entire new website page.
Great, thank you.
Very cool. So thank you, Alex. So first of all, I agree with the compliments you've already received, and kudos to you because the tie looks really sharp and I'm feeling like a schmuck. So well played. Always dress a little bit better than the client. So here's the thing. This is a sustainability student competition. So I want to start with the focus on the word sustainability. How are you and the business defining sustainability?
Well, I'm defining sustainability in reference to the current threat that they're facing, which is COVID-19, and how they can be resilient to that threat, which is why I recommended the marketing of the tours and further outreach, which would help to deal with some of the issues of demand in the real estate market currently. And as far as the internal issues of work culture that COVID has caused, the recommendations of the 360 evaluation and the workforce policies would help to both make expectations clear for their employees and to focus on their employees' development while working from home in a remote setting.
Very cool. And then that second recommendation, or number 5, which was your second primary recommendation, you talked about the virtual tours, and you made a reference to the environmental benefits of that. How important or relevant were those environmental benefits to the client?
That didn't necessarily come up in the interview itself. That is just an additional benefit to the virtual tours, where it would reduce the need to have clients meet the agents at a location or have the clients travel with the clients to a location. So there is a slightly minimized impact of travel with those virtual tours.
Very cool. But it sounds like that was not necessarily of strong interest to the client.
Not during the interview, it wasn't mentioned, no.
Yeah, very cool. So I always have mean questions, but I'll save them. I'll turn it back over to Tori and Katherine.
I have one more, actually. I was inspired by one of the questions you asked, Scott. Sometimes when we're studying sustainability, especially when we're trying to make the business case for change, along the way, we end up having our own personal definition of sustainability. So Alex, I was just wondering, in your own words, what's your personal definition for sustainability and how that informs your values and kind of drives your recommendations to your clients?
I think that sustainability is being resilient to very prominent threats that affect, especially with businesses for the future, and individuals relating to the environment, social issues, any economic issues
Great, thank you.
Katherine?
I think I'm all set for questions right now. You did a great job answering those, and my other judges have asked also very insightful questions. So thank you guys.
Very cool. So Alex, I leave it to you. I can throw a really last mean question at you, or we can start the applause. What's your preference?
I would probably like to start the applause.
Very cool. I think that's a perfectly appropriate response, Alex. Well done. So are we supposed to all clap now? Well done, Alex.
Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you, Alex. Great job. And next up, we have Desiree Dator. Desiree was a junior this year at SUNY Maritime College, where she's majoring in international transportation and trade. She is from the Bronx, New York, and this spring, Desiree focused on women-owned businesses of all different types. After college, she plans to work in the business or maritime industry, and after a few years, plans to apply to the FBI to try and work in combating sex trafficking. Now, here's Desiree's video from September, right before starting her U360 internship.
Hi, my name is Desiree Dator, and I'm a junior at SUNY Maritime College, which is located in the Bronx, New York. I also live here, and my major is international transportation and trade. What I'm most looking forward to about this internship is meeting new people, as well as learning about the intersection between sustainability and business and how I can apply that to a future job. Thank you.
All right, and now Desiree will present her sustainability action plan for a landscaping company in the Southeast. Welcome, Desiree.
Thank you, Laura. This business has been in operation since 2005 and currently has 49 employees. The average age of employees is 30. They're in a suburban area and are located 20 minutes from a large city. They are currently opening a second location 2 hours away from their original. They offer lawn maintenance, landscape design and construction, along with irrigation installation and upkeep, and are open year-round. They do both residential and commercial work, but their focus is on residential. The business has great community involvement, supporting elementary schools, sports, gardens, and more. The business has a great online presence across multiple platforms. The business is innovative and open-minded about the future of landscaping, technology, and the environment, recently investing $20,000 into battery-powered equipment. This business faces competition. There are at least 20 other landscape and similar businesses in less than half-a-mile radius, such as landscape architecture firms, maintenance companies, and general contractors. They are all competing for customers. These businesses range in size, from sole proprietors to businesses with 10 to 20 employees. These other businesses have similar maintenance prices, if not slightly lower. This year-round business offers lifetime guarantees, warranties, and referral deals. In order to prevent loss of customers year to year, they can implement auto renewal and deals. They can email their customers the option to subscribe to auto renewing lawn maintenance, incentivizing this with deals, such as if customers agree to auto renew, they get 1 or 2 additional services for free of their choosing. This will save the business time and resources, leaving it in the hands of customers. According to an article by Small Business Trends, A 5% increase in customer retention can lead to an increase in profits of 25 to 95%. And according to Arbor Gold, renewals help reduce turnover from season to season. Preventing attrition of customers will provide a steadier form of revenue in the face of increasing competition. The business currently uses marketing through social media and community outreach and involvement. The business can mail postcards to potential customers, specifically homeowners in the business's new location. The Direct Marketing Association reports that 77% of people look at their mail immediately, and over 60% of them went on to make a purchase within 3 months. 95% of millennials say they love getting physical mail, so it is a sustainable long-term plan. A Forbes article said 85% of consumers would be more inclined to open a piece of personalized mail. It's very compelling. USPS offers a free tool to estimate the cost of a business campaign with customizable options. The estimated total came between $600 to $900. The incoming customers can also be offered auto renew. If they choose not to, the business can offer it again after 6 months, relaying that they hope the customer is enjoying the service, and if they are, to please choose auto renew and receive the discount/deal. In the face of competition, a business must not only retain customers, but attract new ones to keep their competitive edge. And postcards are an influential way to do this. The business can diversify themselves and increase their client market by becoming certified women-owned and green business certified. A woman-owned small business certification is a diversity certification based on requirements defined by the Small Business Administration. The certification will give them access to the federal contracting program, where thousands of contracts are awarded to female-owned businesses each year, as well as the Mentor Protege program. They will have access to the organization's corporate partners, including Fortune 500 companies. Most beneficial in the face of competition is the boost in the business's marketing strategies. Proudly advertising their certification can bring in customers who want to support women entrepreneurs. And the Women Business Enterprise National Convention may also feature them online, adding another avenue for business exposure. A green business certification is an accreditation of a business's compliance with voluntary environmental and energy efficiency standards. The Green Business Bureau is unique because members choose initiatives that best suit their business, saving businesses thousands of dollars in consulting fees. GBB, or the Green Business Bureau, credits businesses for efforts already completed with guides for implementing future green practices. There are membership levels from member just by joining to the top of Platinum Seal. The business can gain recognition by marketing their GBB seal across their platforms. The price is $575 a year for a company with 51 to 100 employees. These two certifications will diversify the business from competition and give them access to resources. The business currently uses mini splits for cooling, an energy-efficient ductless AC system, and has a smart thermostat with temperature control. The federal government offers green energy tax reductions under the 2005 Energy Policy Act, where they can save for partially qualifying systems. Possible savings include 60 cents a square foot for HVAC systems meeting 15% savings, and 30 cents a square foot for lighting systems meeting 25% savings. These savings are in comparison to a theoretical baseline building. $1,000 annual savings is possible based on their building's square footage, in addition to their other location. I believe they would meet, or at least be 3/4 of the way to receive this tax reduction. They can use the money saved and allocate it elsewhere, such as into the marketing campaign. The business owner shared she has a low level of knowledge of the policies and track records of her subcontractors, vendors, and suppliers, but subcontracts out some work such as pesticide application. Gaining knowledge about the policies and track records of these companies and choosing who to work with based on this is important because it'll reduce risks. Misunderstandings, lawsuits, fines, and delays are a few things that can happen when a business isn't fully aware of who they are working with. If a subcontractor doesn't perform their job correctly, this can make the business look bad to the public, especially if they choose to get their green business certification and the error occurs with pesticides. Word can spread and the business can be affected when customers turn to competition. By increasing knowledge of who the business is working with, they can reduce risks, ensure long-term success, better face competition, and potentially benefit by choosing to work with other women-owned businesses in the area, building connections. The business is doing incredibly well and is in the process of growing. However, without the proper understanding of who they are working with, they are at risk. A potential lawsuit can ruin a company's good standing, lose them customers, and as such lose them money. An increase in knowledge will reduce their risks both short and long term, allow the business to thrive, and they can use this to their advantage by building their network of connections. Attracting new customers is important because the business just opened a second location. To ensure the success of this new location, the business would benefit by forming relationships with potential customers, especially considering these people may already have relationships with other landscaping businesses. This will also help them grow their client base, increase profits, and combat money spent. The threat of increasing competition for customers is important for the business. To remain competitive, the business can benefit from all 5 recommendations. But to keep their edge, they should look inwards towards risk management to protect themselves and the company's longevity. Because of their new location, they can benefit by ensuring it succeeds. Customer attraction is a huge part of that. The business should focus on its location's success and grow their customer base. This will increase the profits of an already growing company and allow the business to thrive. Thank you.
Nicely done, Desiree.
Thank you.
Katherine, you want to kick us off this one?
I'd love to. Desiree, I was very impressed by all of your background research. You had a lot of facts and figures to throw out there, and I thought it really added to the presentation. So great job on your background research. A lot of your recommendations focused on marketing, and I know you mentioned that the other 20 plus businesses similar to this one in the area had similar to, if not lower prices. So do you believe that all of these inputs of marketing, and it kind of sounds like some of it would be either a lot of spending or a lot of employee power. Do you think all of these would counteract these prices and make them more, attract more customers within the community?
Yes. So this company is already incredibly, I'd say, competitive, probably near the top in their industry in the area. However, all of my recommendations are geared to make this business have an even greater competitive edge, to remain on top, and to also, I'd say, attract a new customer base to perhaps people that aren't aware. For example, the women-owned business certification would possibly bring in women that want to support female entrepreneurs that may not be aware of that she is a women-owned business.
Great. And a little follow-up to that, are the other businesses in the area, do you know if any of those have the certifications that you mentioned, like the women-owned business or the green certification?
So in the half-mile I'd say within a mile, I looked at incredibly closely. And in that mile, I could not find any other businesses with those certifications. However, if you spread that radius wider, there is some green business certified landscaping companies, but I wasn't able to find any women certified.
Great, thank you so much.
Tori, is it okay if I pick up from there?
Right ahead.
Thank you, Tori. Because Katherine, I think, kind of set up some of the questions that I had. I guess attracting new customers sounds like an incredibly important priority. But what's going to differentiate this business from other businesses? I mean, aren't they just all doing the same kind of stuff? So what's the differentiator that they're going to use to attract new customers?
Yes, thank you for asking that. May I ask, do you mean in their original location or their new one that they're opening?
The business itself, the service that they're providing. Because as a customer of a landscape person, I honestly don't care where they're located. I just want to know what they're going to do for me.
Mm-hmm. Right. And now, may you reiterate that question? I apologize.
No, well done. That's always a good trick. Make sure the question's clear. How will this business differentiate itself from others?
How will this business differentiate themselves from others? In my opinion, I believe that in general, if you mean all of my recommendations, the women-owned business certification differentiates themselves, for example, because that is something that is not as, there are not a lot of women-owned businesses in the landscape industry. And this business in particular has some interest in being green. For example, they recently invested $20,000 into battery-powered lawnmowers. So the green business certification is something that would be of interest, I believe, to them, but would also diversify themselves and be of interest to the people in their area. And that would all be things that would differentiate themselves and attract customers.
I love it. And so I guess that kind of relates to my next question, which is when you are kind of prioritizing just 2 of the top 5, why were those certifications not one of the top 2 priorities for you?
Yes, thank you for asking that as well. So from when I was choosing my prioritized recommendations, I believe that gaining knowledge and increasing knowledge of the subcontractors, vendors, and suppliers had to be on there, because no matter what else they do, if they aren't fully aware of who they're working with, that can potentially lead to a downfall. I think it's something that risk management is always something that can be improved and should be done. So that had to be on there, in my opinion. And for attracting new customers, I had to put that as well, because they just opened a second location, which I believe has to succeed. So prioritizing attracting customers has to come first in that new location. They have to be able to create a client base in that area.
Very cool. Thank you. Sorry to jump in on you like that, Tori.
No, it's okay. I also, you stole a couple of my questions. The certificate, I felt torn, Desiree, in terms of choosing the top 2 as well, because priority, sometimes is about significance, but also can be in terms of order of events. And, there's opening a new location. I definitely agree with you with attracting new customers is important, but part of attracting new customers is marketing, and part of the marketing is having these certifications to differentiate from your competitors. So it was a very difficult choice. So I understand that position you were in. You mentioned that the company was interested in becoming more green as well. I was just curious if, I know you said they're doing some practices, but becoming certified can be a big lift for some companies because of how much they might have to overhaul in terms of their internal processes or products. So just curious if you had a sense of how big of a lift it would be for them to even move in that direction.
Yes, thank you for asking that as well. So that's part of the reason why I chose the Green Business Bureau to be the green business certification process that they go through. It's very hands-on, I'd say easy, streamlined, completely online, and everything they do would be at their own pace. So they can choose initiatives that they'd like to complete and then perhaps push others off if they weren't ready for it. It's completely in the hands of the business. So I think it's a great starting point for them in terms of what they want to do now and what they want to do in their future.
Got it. That's helpful. Thank you. And I was blown away when you mentioned, about 20 competitors in such a tight space. Did you get a sense from them how far out their services are willing to go as you think about attracting new customers?
Would you mind rephrasing that as well?
That might not have been the most articulate. Are they only servicing like, a mile radius around their, around their store, or do they like how far is their service range?
Yeah, so they do have a radius. So their original location, they have a radius. I'd say it's about 5 cities in the radius of their location. So perhaps an hour, I would believe. And then they're also opening that new location 2 hours away from their original, which I was unable to find any information on what their service area would be for that.
And I have a couple more, but just one more for now, and I'll open it up to my colleagues. You mentioned postcards for attracting new customers. Not surprised to hear millennials like all of a sudden have some physical mail now, how the pendulum sways. But have you thought about sometimes some of the irony of using paper mail and how that affects the environment?
Yes, I did. Thank you for asking that. So I chose USPS, the USPS campaign, because it allowed me to estimate the costs on average of what they were looking at. I also found out that USPS spends $200 million a year on recycled materials, and that the postcards, envelopes, and that the adhesive on their stamps are all biodegradable and recyclable and made from recycled material. However, if the business did want to go even greener, I did find another postcard company that's eco-friendly, and it's called Greener Printer. And if they wanted to choose that option, they can. But I was unable to calculate a price, so I went with USPS for now. But that is an option for them.
Excellent. Thank you.
I love your answer to that question. So well done. It was a good question, Tori and Desiree. I love that you had the answer. Kind of related to that, I'm just curious, what do you and the business know about how important it is for their customers that they are environmentally friendly? So do the customers care about this environmental friendly stuff or women-owned stuff?
Yes. So I was able to find some statistics, and I found there was a state poll where they were able to receive 552 people's answers on green and the environment. And they found that 54% of respondents say that the issue of global warming is extremely or very important to them and want leadership that values the environment. And 2/3 of those 552 people responded saying they were more likely to buy products from companies that actively support environmental issues. So I believe there is a market for them to receive their green business certification and then receive customers from that, as well as in their area is made up of 52.6% women. And speaking from personal experience, I know that women are interested in women-owned businesses. So I believe there's a market for that as well.
I can keep throwing questions, but I'm going to stop.
Well, you can keep on coming if you'd like.
Katherine, Tori?
I think you've answered all of the questions beautifully. I'm all set for questions right now. Thank you so much for all of the work that you've put into this.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, I'll just ask the same question actually that I asked Alex. Have you given thought to what your personal definition is for sustainability and how that informs your values and drives your recommendations to businesses?
Yes. So I'd say as a business major, my interpretation of sustainability is all encompassing. It encompasses all ESG practices. It is partially the environment, but I also care about the business's bottom line on how to produce company longevity and how to make them money, save them money. And I love that environmentally that can happen. You could use environmental sustainability as a way to save and make them money. And I absolutely love that connection.
Great, thank you.
And I'll pause there. Lots of fun questions, but we can have conversations later. So we'll do that later. So I vote, if everybody's okay, that you turn on your sounds so that Desiree can hear how much we appreciated her presentation.
Desiree!
Woo!
Woo!
Well done.
All right. Thank you, Desiree. Great job. Now, our third and final presenter today is Lily Brown. Lily was a senior this year and just graduated from University of Vermont with an environmental science degree and a minor in Spanish. She is from Ludlow, Massachusetts, and this spring, Lily interviewed all businesses related to community development. Next month, she will begin working full-time for National Grid as part of their graduate development program. And here's Lily back in September, sharing what she was looking forward to in the coming U360 year.
Hi, my name is Lily Brown, and I'm a senior studying environmental science at the University of Vermont, right here in Burlington, Vermont. As a U360 intern, I'm really excited to connect with different small business owners and learn more about the role that sustainability plays in the business sector.
All right, now Lily will present her sustainability action plan for an electric utility in the Northeast. Welcome to the stage, Lily.
This electric utility is a customer-owned cooperative. This means they are an independent electric utility and are owned by the members that they serve. They serve residential and commercial customers and are the only power company in their area. The co-op was started in 1938 to expand electric service to the rural area that they serve. They have around 100 employees, and their principal service is to provide electricity. However, they also provide some services to encourage environmentally friendly electric use, including bill credits for efficient appliances, electric vehicle rebates, and net metering. The business's fuel portfolio is almost entirely carbon-free, consisting of hydro, nuclear, and wind. Only 7% of their fuel comes from fossil fuels, and the business has plans to become 100% carbon-free by 2023. This is communicated to customers via their website, social media, and newsletter. The business also offers a full benefits plan, including paid time off, health insurance, and a retirement plan with full match. Climate change presents a significant threat to this business. Severe weather can cause damage to lines and poles and outages. We all saw the impacts that severe winter weather had on the grid in Texas. The state where this business is located has seen 8 federally declared weather disasters in the past decade. With climate change, these extreme weather events will only become more frequent. Additionally, this business is in a state where people are very environmentally conscious. Climate change could lead to declining electricity sales as customers become more aware of their energy use. While this reduces emissions, declining sales would lead to less revenue. Additionally, this business faces challenges due to an aging workforce. Fewer young people are entering the electric industry, especially as line workers. The state where this business is located also has a higher median age than the US as a whole. The utility will need a solid workforce to adapt to changes and uncertainty in the industry and remain successful. The business does not conduct performance reviews for their employees. I recommend that the business start doing annual reviews for all employees. This would assist with employee retention. Performance reviews would give employees an opportunity to set goals for what they hope to get out of their role. It would also help their supervisor to identify opportunities for further training. This would create a workforce that is likely to stay with the company long term. The performance reviews would be organized by the HR department and conducted by supervisors. It is important that it also includes an opportunity for employees to provide feedback on improving operations. 50% of the utility workforce is expected to retire in the next 5 to 10 years. To combat an aging workforce, the business could form partnerships with local high schools. This way, they could recruit local young adults into their workforce. The business could form connections with the guidance departments at these schools and provide information. Counselors could then distribute this information to students. The business could also allow interested students to shadow an employee for a day. If these efforts are successful, in the future, the business could create a pipeline program. With such a program, they could make conditional offers to local high school students who commit to line worker training. Across the US, grid infrastructure is nearing the end of its useful life. This utility has aging equipment and poles, which is dangerous when combined with the risk of extreme weather due to climate change. I recommend that they take an active role in advocating for legislation around infrastructure upgrades. Government assistance will be necessary to make the large infrastructure improvements that this business needs. There are opportunities at the state level, as well as with Biden's infrastructure plan. The business could reach out to their elected officials, write pieces in local media outlets, attend public hearings, and participate in public comment periods. In 2017, energy efficiency measures reduced usage in the US by 12%. To increase usage in an environmentally friendly way, the business offers rebates to customers who purchase efficient electric heat pumps. To build on this, I suggest that they conduct a cost-benefit analysis of developing a demand response program for heat pumps. With such a program, customers would allow the utility to adjust the temperature of their heat pump by a few degrees when demand on the grid is high. In exchange, they would receive a monthly bill credit. While heat pumps are more expensive upfront, they can reduce energy usage by 40%. This amounts to customer savings of around $1,000 per year. This program would encourage the adoption of electric heating technologies, which would increase sales for this business. Customers would switch from fossil fuel heating to the business's nearly carbon-free electricity, helping to combat climate change. The business uses electric vehicles for administrative travel. However, they must contend with fluctuating gasoline prices for their diesel trucks. I recommend that the business switch to biodiesel. Biodiesel is a renewable diesel fuel made from recycled waste vegetable oil. Switching to biodiesel lowers fossil fuel emissions, helping to combat climate change. It also improves lubricity, which prevents wear and tear on the engine. no upgrades or conversions are necessary for the trucks to be able to run on biodiesel. Additionally, the average price of biodiesel in the US in 2021 is $2.42 per gallon, which is comparable to gasoline. Biodiesel also faces less price volatility than gasoline. There is a biodiesel fueling station only 12 minutes from this business and others across the state. Switching to biodiesel also comes with a marketing opportunity. The use of clean fuel can be advertised on the trucks themselves. A priority for this business could be implementing performance evaluations for all employees. The business struggles with employee creativity and engagement in a time when the workforce is declining. It is important that they take this step to retain a talented and engaged workforce. Additionally, employees would have an opportunity during the performance evaluation to provide recommendations that may help to address some of the business's other challenges. Next, I recommend that the business prioritize forming partnerships with local high schools for employee recruitment. The utility would be able to start by providing information to school counselors and later have the opportunity to develop a more intensive recruitment program. To adapt in a rapidly changing industry landscape, the business will need a solid workforce in the coming years. This business has been providing an essential service to its service territory for nearly 80 years. Today, it faces a rapidly changing and uncertain industry landscape due to climate change. Recruitment and retention of a skilled and engaged workforce will be extremely important as the business rises to meet this challenge. Implementation of these strategies would position the business to have a sufficient workforce to tackle an uncertain future. Thank you.
I would like to volunteer Scott to lead us off with questions this time.
That is fair, Tori, and well played. Lily, thank you very much for the presentation. So having done some sustainability consulting work in the utility space, my key initial questions are, is this a regulated utility market or a deregulated utility market?
Regulated.
It is a regulated market. And is your client doing both the electricity generation and the distribution?
So they do generate some of their own electricity. However, they are not generating all of it. They are purchasing some as well from outside, and the generation facilities they co-own with some other utilities. So it's that type of setup.
Very cool. Thank you. So then they have the ability to directly control like how the lines are maintained and those kinds of equipment needs, but less ability to control the sources of the electricity. Is that?
They have some control over both, I would say. They definitely have more control over the lines and the infrastructure, because any of the lines, substations, those types of things that are located in their service territory, they own and are responsible for managing. And then as far as the power supply, they do have some choice in where they purchase their electricity from for the portion that they are purchasing. So they do have some control over that as well, although perhaps a bit less.
Okay. And then based on your recommendations, that it sounds like one of the biggest challenges is just boots on the ground, right? They need men and women to be out there fixing and repairing and providing. Is that their number one risk right now?
Yes, I would say so, yes.
Very cool. So then the related question is kind of, one of the recommendations was around heat pumps.
Mm-hmm.
What are the revenue opportunities for the business if they pursue that approach?
So with heat pumps, in the service territory where this business is located, natural gas is currently the most common type of heating fuel used in homes. And this business only provides electricity, not natural gas. So if people were to switch from natural gas to these heat pumps, they would then be buying electricity from my business instead of natural gas from a different business. And additionally, with the demand response program that I'm proposing, it reduces the business's need to purchase additional electricity during times when demand on the grid is high and electricity is more expensive, which lowers the cost for them.
Great response. Thank you, Lily.
Thank you.
Should I tag in Tori? Go for it.
Sure. I appreciate you asking questions more focused on grid infrastructure and things. So this stuff that's out of my brain. But yeah, looking at high school partnerships and developing a pipeline for a future workforce is definitely happening, a challenge in many industries, like in advanced manufacturing. Not surprised to hear it here as well. In your research, have you come across any models like apprenticeships or things like that to get students exposed to this industry? I have a follow-up, but I'll start with that one.
Yes, so I did come across several utilities that have similar programs. A lot of the ones that I came across in my research were actually more intensive than what I am suggesting, where the business had a more intensive training program or partnerships with high schools. I think that that would be a lot for this business to take on right out of the gate, which is why I'm suggesting that they start with developing those relationships with the guidance departments, providing information about how students can go about getting into this field, those types of things. But yes, I did come across several other utilities across the company that are doing something similar.
Okay. And I'm not sure if this was outside of the scope of your research, but internally with the company, obviously students coming out of high school and going into this work would be probably at the most line staff role of the company. Do you have a sense of the type of jobs within the company? Like, are there advancement opportunities, and are the jobs designed with quality in mind, or are some of these like very entry level roles kind of terminal, and since there's nowhere to go after that?
I don't know a whole lot about this business in particular with related to that. However, I would say that in general for the industry, someone might come in as an apprentice and then be hired after their apprenticeship as kind of a standard base level line worker. And eventually they might be promoted to be a crew leader. And so I would say that I would imagine that, like other businesses in the industry, there is that type of room for advancement where you can move from apprenticeship to a regular employee to a crew leader, moving up in that way. Yes.
Got it. Thank you.
Great job, Lily. The electrical grid is not my specialty, but I feel like I learned a lot from that, and I think you did a really great job explaining everything. To go off of that, I know you mentioned that there was really no competition in the area. This business is already almost carbon neutral, and the only other competition is really natural gas. And I think with the climate change generation, natural gas they have a bad association with that, and fracking and those the environmental degradation of those kinds of practices. So I would love it if you would be able to elaborate on as to why one of your top threats is decreasing sales in association with climate change.
So this business is located in a state that is very environmentally conscious. People who live here are very aware of climate change, want to see action, want to see a reduce in usage. So I'm thinking that as climate change becomes more of an issue, we are seeing more young people kind of moving in and being more aware of this change, that in their day-to-day life, they may become more conscious of things like turning off lights or turning down their thermostats or using their washer and dryer less frequently, and more aware of things like purchasing efficient appliances that do use less energy. And so I think that that could potentially have an impact on the sales for this business. And that is why I think it is so important that they keep pushing these electric transformation technologies that switch customers off of fossil fuels, petroleum, natural gas, and onto their electricity because it is carbon free. And the business is currently doing a really good job of advertising that they are carbon free. It's all over their newsletters and their website. So I think that they continue to do that is really important as well, so that the customers are aware that their electricity is clean, it is coming from renewable sources, and they can feel better about continuing to use it.
Great, thank you so much for that. And in just another question that I have also related to the declining sales, which of your priorities, because I know your top priorities were mostly focused on the aging workforce and getting more people into that, which of your 5 priorities do you think would be best suited to address the declining sales that you predict?
I think the heat pump recommendation for sure is my strongest recommendation in terms of addressing that. Just getting customers off of those fossil fuel heating sources and onto electricity.
Great, thank you so much.
Thank you.
So can I pick up and ask Katherine's, ask a meaner version of Katherine's question? You ready, Lily?
I'm ready.
If the number one threat really is the risk of declining sales, and the best way of addressing that most important threat is heat pumps, why didn't heat pumps make it into your top 2?
So let me backtrack a little bit. I think I might not have been entirely clear. My number one threat overall for this business is the declining workforce. Answering Katherine's question, just to be more clear, I was saying my strongest recommendation in relation to the declining sales threat, not that that is the biggest threat.
Thank you for that clarification, Lily.
Yes,
Thank
I
you.
still believe that the workforce is the biggest threat to the business as a whole.
Very cool. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
And sorry, Katherine, if I misunderstood your question. So
Thinking about the workforce as such a challenge, you're thinking about annual reviews to, keep people engaged and productive. You're thinking about future workforce engagement. Has your research thought of any other intervention areas in terms of bringing in mid-level management and other people who are going to age out very quickly as an intermediary step? Because the high school idea, I think, is a great pipeline, but it's also long-term building in terms of, that company investment.
I did not look into options for more of that middle level in particular. However, I do think that my performance evaluations recommendation does address that, because those are especially important for younger and middle level employees, but that are already working with the company, because it allows them to create that bond with their supervisor, to identify options for further training and further advancement, and to set goals for what they want to achieve and encourage them to stay with the company and help them feel supported that the company wants to help them achieve those goals and that training so that they stay with the company.
Got it. Did you happen to know, you might not have this information, but did you happen to know if the company had a high turnover rate with staff?
They did not report a high turnover, no.
Okay. I have my closing question, but I'll hold on to it in case Scott or Katherine have something else to ask.
I was wondering if you had also looked into partnering with colleges, or if there were any colleges or universities in the area, or how you landed on partnering with high schools.
That is a great question. I did look into options for community colleges in the area. The reason I didn't focus on community college is because there are no community colleges located directly in the service territory of this business. There are some located in the state, not too far away from the service territory. I think that if they felt so inclined, that could be an option for them to look into. I just didn't include them here because they are not located in the service territory of the business.
Good thinking. Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
And I'll pass on any final questions, although I can hear Tori thinking about off-site community college programs for those kinds of things. So, community colleges are pretty flexible that way, right, Tori?
I think we're pretty flexible. Same question to you, Lily. Have you given thought to your own personal definition for sustainability and how it informs your values and drives your recommendations?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So as an environmental science major, this is actually something I've thought about a lot, and I could probably go on about this for half an hour, which I'm going to try not to do. And I think generally when people hear that someone is an environmental science major, they tend to think, oh, she's a tree hugging, go trees and grass type of girl. And I tend to think that I do not take that approach. I take a very human focused approach to environmental science and sustainability. And I believe that we need environmental sustainability to serve people and to make the world a better place for people, for our communities, for each other, for all of us that live here. And so that's really the approach that I take to sustainability, is integrating environmental sustainability in order to create a world that is really sustainable for humanity.
Thank you. I'm reminded of one of my advisors at my MBA program. She would say, save the planet. No, it's save the people. Like, we're the ones that have to live here.
Yes, you need the planet for the people, but it comes down to the people for me, really.
Yeah. Great job. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yay, Lily.
Woo! Woo!
Okay, so now that you've seen these three presentations, I'll share that the students only had 5 weeks to put their projects together, and their action plan was based on just a 1-hour conversation with the business owner, along with a lot of research, as you just saw. So let's have another round of applause for our 3 students who all did such an excellent job. And thank you, Scott, Tori, and Katherine, for being such great judges. I definitely don't envy the task that's in front of you right now. So at this time, our judges will be leaving us to go to a private breakout room where they'll deliberate and determine this year's winner. So good luck. Thank you all. And we'll see you in just a little bit with the big news. And in the meantime, for the rest of us who are not in that private room, while we await their decision, you'll have the opportunity to hear from all of the students in this year's U360 class. But first, I have some thank yous to extend to several people. And since they are not on screen with us all right now, we do have a slide so you can see their faces at least. So to begin with, I would like to express my utmost appreciation to our team of preliminary judges who gave the invaluable gift of their time and expertise last week as they viewed, evaluated, and scored the students' presentations. Some of the judges are also U360 alumni who are out of school and are now business and/or sustainability professionals themselves. And you can see which U360 class they were a part of on this slide. So a huge thank you goes out to Adam Green from Green Lens Media, LLC, Andrea O'Brien from the New Hampshire Small Business Development Center, Celeste Labady from Woodard and Curran, Joe Walsh from Green Clean Maine, Julie Stazik, a sustainability graduate student, Kate Holcomb from Canopy Farms, Carrie Sands from College of the Atlantic, Leah Soloway from the New England Environmental Finance Center, Marina Bowie from the Northern Border Regional Commission, Nicholas Masiello from Edison Energy, LLC, Richard Bilodeau from University of Southern Maine, Rachel Rymaszewski from Prime Buckholz, LLC, and Zachary Thayer from B-Lab. Thank you to all of our preliminary judges. And next, I would like to thank 10 extraordinary individuals who were so integral to the success and outcomes of this year's internship. Every year, we have a team of alumni assistants, former U360 interns who are invited to continue with us at Manomet as volunteer program assistants. And there are not words to express the amount of gratitude I have for this year's group that I call the A-Team. These alumni are so committed to helping U360 and our interns succeed that they give countless hours of their time on top of a full course load or a full-time job to coach and mentor the current students, to assist me with various program tasks, and to promote U360 to prospective students as we recruit the next year's class. To say they're my right-hand people would be a gross understatement, and U360 would certainly be a lesser program without the time, perspective, talents, and care that they give to me and our students. Everyone, please join me in applauding the unsung heroes of this year's U360 internship. Huge thank you to Abby Novak from the U360 class of 2018, Autumn Strom from the U360 class of 2020, Cole Hillis from the U360 class of 2019, Emma Chen from the U360 class of 2020, Emma Cost from the U360 class of 2018, Kaylin Keith from the U360 class of 2017, Maddie Hayes from the class of 2018, Mallory Strain from the class of 2020, Max Hayes from the class of 2019, and Tom Dolliff from the class of 2020. So thank you to the A-team from all of us at Manomet and all of the students in this year's internship. And last, but certainly not least, I want to thank all of the students in this year's class. On behalf of all of us at Manomet, thank you for your incredibly hard work, for your dedication to this program, and for your determination to be change makers. And thank you for bravely contacting small business owners during a pandemic to talk with them about sustainability. I know it wasn't easy navigating the constantly changing terrain of COVID and which business types or locations you could or couldn't contact at any given time, but you all did it. And because of you, nearly 500 small business owners had the opportunity to think about ways they could improve their overall sustainability for the first time during a year when they've never needed that more. You all set the wheels in motion, and your action will have rippling effects that will make the world a better place. So for that, we all thank you. And on that note, I'd like to ask the entire U360 class of 2021 to join me now, please. All right, hi everybody. Here is our amazing class of young changemakers for 2020 to 2021. All right. So I'm going to ask all of the students to go around and introduce themselves to you and answer a question that I have for all of them. So I would love to hear your thoughts on this question. So could you please share what you've learned this year in U360 about how to affect environmental and social change, and how you think you'll apply what you've learned after leaving the program? So that's the question. And after you introduce yourself, you can go ahead and invite one of your fellow interns to introduce themselves next. Sound good, everybody? All right. All right, so let's see. Charlotte, would you like to start us off today?
Sure, thanks, Laura. Hi, everyone. My name is Charlotte Del Cole, and I'm originally from Wellesley, Massachusetts, but I just graduated from Colby College in Waterville, Maine on Sunday, where I studied environmental policy and anthropology. U360 has taught me a lot about sustainability practices and how they can work together to accomplish the triple bottom line. I really appreciated learning about the way that environmental, social, and governance practices can come together and create tangible change in the small business world. In a couple of weeks, I'll be starting a job as an energy analyst at a firm in Portland, Maine. So I certainly will be using many of the skills that I learned throughout my time at U360 during my professional career. And now I'd love to pass it off to Cynthia.
Thank you, Charlotte. My name is Cynthia Criollo. I'm a student at Rutgers Business School. I'm a junior studying leadership and management, and I currently live in New Jersey. U360 taught me a lot, not just about sustainability, but about myself as a person. With all the skills and interpersonal skills gained through learning sustainability and learning about the business management, really put together my values on how I wanted to carry on my career. And I can't wait to apply that just with my people and in my job, in future jobs. And now I really like to pass it on to Ellie to introduce herself.
Hi everyone, my name is Elle Hankin and I go to Colby College. I'm an environmental policy major and I'm from Atlanta, Georgia. This year, I've had the opportunity to expand my knowledge of environmental practices through our Phase 1 training, gain experience with professional communication skills, and build on my knowledge of how sustainability can be incorporated into business practices and everyday life. I am hoping to pursue a career in the environmental field, so I look forward to taking everything I've learned and applying it to my future internships and jobs. Jose, would you like to go next?
Thank you. My name is Jose Manuel Rivero, and I'm from Mexico City. I'm a student at Suffolk University, majoring in business management with a minor in business economics. And something I learned this year at Manomet and through U360, I learned about the importance of understanding how all human behaviors and industries within an economy and all human activities are somehow related to and are really part of a much broader system of living organisms. And this is a knowledge that I'm excited to carry and to bring with me in any future internships and any future work opportunities I have. And I know that during my internship this summer at a mortgage bank, I will be better prepared thanks to this program. And now I would like to invite Lara to introduce herself.
Thank you. My name is Laura Deb, and I just graduated from Suffolk University with a Bachelor of Science in Law undergraduate studies. With U360, I've learned how the triple bottom line is implemented and works in the real world, especially in the small business space. But the last few years at college, I've been learning more about environmental studies, and it made me more perceptive to the lack of sustainability or solutions in other spaces, especially the community level. So it kind of ignited an enthusiasm for a bit of a career change, which is hopefully pursuing higher education in urban and community development. And I would like to invite Molly to speak now.
Thank you. Hi, my name is Molly Patnod. I am currently a sophomore at the University of New England, where I am studying sustainability and business. And I'm originally from Southern Vermont. And my experience at U360 has allowed me to broaden my perspective and understanding about sustainability as a whole. And it's also helped me show that affecting change really just starts with a conversation and to talk about it. So I'm really looking forward to, after this program, being able to be the one to start the conversation and help others kind of show others the importance and aspects of sustainability. I'd like to introduce Desiree.
Thank you. Hi, my name is Desiree. I'm a junior at SUNY Maritime College, and I live in the Bronx, New York. This year, I learned how to start conversations about environmental and social impacts, especially in the business world, to have real open conversations where ideas flow and different opinions are heard. I plan to use the communication skills that I've learned here in the U360 program and start conversations and create an open space where change can happen. Now I'd like Lily to introduce herself.
Hello, I'm Lily Brown. I just graduated last week from the University of Vermont with a degree in environmental science, and I'm originally from Ludlow, Massachusetts. And I think that as an environmental science student, the U360 program was really valuable for me to gain a business perspective on sustainability, because that's something that I don't get a lot of in my program. And I think getting those perspectives from business owners about the challenges that are facing them on the ground in the real world was very valuable. Oh, and I would like to invite Ashlyn to go next.
Thanks, Lily. My name is Ashlyn Tomer, and I graduated from the University of Southern Maine with degrees in general management and marketing. I'm originally from New Hampshire. What I've learned from this program is that doing good and being a successful business go hand in hand. So in the future, I plan to advocate in my workplaces that sustainability and a strong social purpose can actually add business value and reduce risk, while protecting people, planet, and the business's reputation. Madeline, would you like to go next?
Yeah, thanks. I'm Madeline Matson. I go to Boston University, where I'm majoring in environmental analysis and policy. And coming to this internship and being part of this program, it has kind of revolutionized my communication skills on a professional level. And it's also far and away allowed me to practice persistence in a way that is extraordinarily useful as a tool for change that I will be using going forward a lot more confidently, especially paired with a little bit of patience as we all dealt with waiting for responses from business owners and just working with our team members to kind of get through it and lean on support and look to where we could support each other and have these kind of conversations in the future. So that's what I have. And Marty, if you want to introduce yourself.
Thank you, Madeline. Hi, my name is Marty Stansky, and I am a student at Boston University studying environmental policy and analysis. I'm originally from Wayland, Massachusetts, and this internship has been an invaluable experience this year, both offering consistency with my teammates. It's been a great support system, and this internship has also expanded my understanding of sustainability beyond what I've learned in my coursework. Most notably, it has taught me that it's not a uniform course of action for all when it comes to implementing sustainability initiatives, but rather an individualized approach for each business. So now I'd like to introduce my teammate, Matt.
Hello, everyone. My name is Matthew Tate. I am a senior at Boston University, also studying environmental analysis and policy, and I am from upstate New York. This year, U360 has challenged my fellow interns and I and encouraged us to take risks. Interns at U360 are encouraged to dive into more intimidating skill sets like emailing business owners, initiating phone calls, and presenting, especially in front of our peers. However, it is only through these risks and taking leaps into the unknown that we continue to promote environmental and social change. Now I would like to invite my friend and colleague, Tyler, to speak.
Thanks, Matt. Hi, everyone. My name's Tyler. I just graduated from UMass Boston with a management degree. I'm from the South Shore of Massachusetts, and what I learned in U360 is that it doesn't matter what field you go into, what career path you choose, there's always room to include sustainability. And not only, like Lily said, you don't have to be all save the trees. It can benefit everyone, from the business owner to the planet to the people that live here. So the next thing that really helped me was being able, from U360, was being able to communicate that effectively to the people that I spoke with throughout the internship. Next up, one of our last finalists who needs no introduction, Alex.
Thank you, Tyler. Hi, everyone. Again, my name is Alex Savage. I'm a recent graduate from Kean University, where I received my degree in marketing. In my experience with U360, I've learned a lot more information about the causes and effects of climate change that are on our world. That's something wasn't as knowledgeable of before because I'm in marketing, not environmental policy. So it was really, really great to get to know more information about it. I also learned about how easy and beneficial it can be to implement sustainable practices into our daily lives, into our local communities, and to the management of businesses. Both for the benefit of the individuals and the environment. In my job search particularly, I will absolutely be putting in a lot of research into the companies that I'm applying to look into how sustainable they currently are, as my interest has increased greatly in this program. So next I'll pass it on to my teammate, Devin Harris.
Thank you, Alex. So hello, everyone.
My name is Devin Harris, and I'm from Ewing, New Jersey. I just graduated from Kean University here in New Jersey, where I majored in business management and am now pursuing a master's degree in global business. I've learned so much from renewable sources to conducting consistent communication to professionals and owners. Diving into the ingredients of products and directing the people in my community to adapt to having a sustainable mindset on all aspects of life is my goal for the near future. Now I'm going to pass the mic to my teammate Emily to introduce herself.
Thank you, Devin. Hi, everyone. My name is Emily Sandler, and I am a student at the University of New Hampshire. I'm an environmental conservation and sustainability major, and I'm from Rochester, New York. Over this past year, I've learned how environmental and social change can come in many different forms. It has helped me gain skills in regards to understanding and applying change to each individual and unique situation. I also gained new knowledge about ways sustainability can look like in the workplace from an economic and social standpoint. And in the future, I will apply what I learned by making changes in my individual life or future workplaces by assessing the current environment around me and making adaptable changes based on the most feasible possibilities. And now I'd like to invite my teammate Lillian to introduce herself.
Thank you, Emily. Hi, everyone. My name is Lillian Kuhn, and I am a junior at Middlebury College in Vermont, where I study molecular biology and biochemistry. I grew up in Yarmouth, Maine. A major learning that I gained from my U360 experience is that there are lots of resources available to help businesses make operational changes, especially in terms of energy sources and efficiency that have the capacity to reduce their carbon footprint, and that small solutions can create a really positive change within a workplace. My time with Manomet has definitely continued my interest in pursuing a career in an environmentally related field, and I will apply my learning to the solar energy and storage analysis internship that I will start next week. Zoe, would you like to go next?
Sure, thanks, Lillian. Hi, everyone. My name is Zoe Murphy, and I just finished up my sophomore year at UMass Amherst. I'm from Southborough, Massachusetts, and I'm studying environmental science. This year, I've learned that change simply starts with the conversation. And in order to address these complex environmental and social issues our society faces, we need to start talking about them. I believe the conversations I've had with business owners this year have been extremely eye-opening, both for me and for the people I've spoken with. I hope to continue to speak about these important topics to learn more about what I can do to bring about change in my community. And Elizabeth, would you like to go next?
Thank you, Zoe. Hello, everybody. My name is Elizabeth Bello. I am a student at New Jersey City University, and I will be majoring in marketing. U360 taught me many things. It taught me more about sustainability. I learned more about small businesses and the business sector. I also increased my communication skills. Basically, businesses have many responsibilities and they prioritize their bottom line. By incorporating social and environmental change, businesses can reduce risks, make money, and save money. Stakeholders must make that connection with one another. I will use everything I learned in U360 to advocate for these important topics in my career. I'd like to invite Julia to introduce herself.
Thank you, Elizabeth. My name is Julia Iannuzzi, and I'm from New Jersey. I just graduated from the University of Maine with a degree in ecology and environmental sciences. The biggest issue I have learned about through U360 is that not everybody is motivated by the same issues, and it's important to understand how to communicate these issues to people with different values. Although not everybody is motivated by the goals of preserving our environment, participating in sustainable practices can benefit anyone in some way or another, and I'm looking forward to utilizing this mindset to further my career. Layla, would you like to go next?
Of course, thank you, Julia. My name is Layla Pearson. I'm a junior at Wellesley College, where I'm focusing on environmental studies and sociology, and I'm from Boston, Massachusetts. Through U360, I learned about the importance of, and I also gained confidence in engaging with the stakeholders. There were so many creative business strategies that I learned through my own interviews or through group shareouts or even through the presentations today. And I hope to apply this like newfound interest and comfort in talking to the stakeholders in whatever projects or initiatives that I'm involved in the future. And I'll pass it on to Narissa.
Thanks, Layla. I can't wait to meet you in person next year, by the way. But my name is Narissa. I am from San Diego, California, but I attend Wellesley College in Massachusetts. I study international relations and environmental studies. And this year in the U360 program, I've learned that the little things can make a big difference, whether it be installing a low flow nozzle or turning off the AC for an hour a day. We can all do our part in thinking of creative solutions to make the biggest impact. Now, when I walk into a store or building, I always observe all of the facilities around me and immediately go to my U360 training to think of ways to improve their business operations and reduce their resource and energy use. I know that my experience with U360 will always help me think creatively and out of the box when encountering any problems. Let's see, Shaylin, do you want to go next?
Thank you. Hi, I'm Shaylin, and I'm an environmental science major at the University of Maine. I'm also minoring in climate science. I grew up in West Milford, New Jersey. My time with U360 has definitely impressed upon me how intricate a lot of sustainability and environmental issues are, even though I've learned scientifically about different problems and the solutions to them. The practical application of those solutions is often a lot more complicated than it may seem on paper. So it definitely requires a lot of collaboration, and you need to listen to the people you're trying to work with instead of telling them what you want them to do or what you think they should do. And as someone who wants to go into the environmental consulting industry, I think that would be a very important mindset to have. And I also, I have a kind of a more intense appreciation of how important communication is in the environmental industry. So I'm actually looking into going into an environmental communication degree for grad school.
That's great. Thank you all so much. And hopefully all of you out there can now see firsthand why I just loved working with this group of students. So it looks like our judges have come back. So it's time for the moment we've been waiting for. And right now I'd like to introduce Manomet trustee Barbara McMillan, who will be announcing this year's winner. Barbara has recently retired from being the watershed outreach coordinator at the New Hampshire Department of Environmental Services. And she is also the chair of the DOOR Foundation, a small family foundation providing grants to schools and nonprofits for science education related projects and programs. Since Manomet was founded in 1969 and starting with her great-grandfather, Barbara's family has been involved with Manomet through birding, serving on the board, and providing grants. So thank you so much for being here, Barbara. I'll turn it over to you.
Thanks, Laura. It's an honor to be here, and I want to congratulate again Alex Savage and Desiree Dator and Lily Brown for their great work. You all did an awesome job. Today, you have truly demonstrated to us the value of the U360 program. You gave fantastic, thorough presentations. You handled very challenging questions from our amazing and entertaining panel of judges. And we really did get to see what the professional, technical, and interpersonal skills that Laura mentioned earlier that you had learned this past year. Speaking as a Manomet trustee and also from my generation, which you can probably guess which one that is, I want to acknowledge that now more than ever, the skills you learned and what you are accomplishing with those skills is so important. You are the change makers. When I research change makers, they are defined as visionaries with the ability to see as possible what others see as impossible, to have hope. A change maker stays strong even in the face of criticism. They understand that they're in the race for the long haul. They are trailblazers and pioneers. And I just think that's perfect for what you have all accomplished. You had to put yourselves out there. You did not just make calls to collect information or give advice. You actually created relationships and partnerships. You tried to understand where people were coming from, what mattered to them, and then you changed what businesses actually thought and did. From experience, I know this work is not easy. And in my environmental outreach work, to get people to change their behavior, it was always easier to preach to the choir. And you were not preaching to the choir. You reached and motivated people to change who might not even think about sustainability, especially with all the businesses had to deal with this past year. As mentioned earlier, you did this in the midst of a unique and historical year for us all, a year full of many changes for us as individuals and as a society. Like many people these days, I tend to worry a lot about what the future holds. In the past weekend, I read a quote in the New York Times that helps me appreciate what it takes to be the change makers you are during these very worrisome times. Quote, "The wisdom of worrying about the worst has its limits when, all things considered, it keeps us from doing what's best." Thank you for doing what's best and having hope. Thank you for making social and environmental changes and recognizing this needs to happen to make a better future for everyone. I speak on behalf of everyone here from Manomet when I say that we really look forward to seeing all that you will accomplish in the years to come, and I know that Laura will be checking in with you. So now, the moment you have all been waiting for. I think I need to ask the three panelists or the finalists to join us. As we wait, there's the drum roll. So I think, is everybody okay? Are we up? And then I will now announce. I'd like to announce Manomet's 2021 Next Generation Scholar is Lily Brown from the University of Vermont for her presentation on an electric utility in the Northeast. I know this was really hard to decide for the judges, and they mentioned that Lily received this award because of her storytelling and because her values and recommendations and presentations were strongly aligned. Congratulations, Lily. And Lily will receive a $1,000 scholarship. So I think we're going to take a moment to applause and.
Yay, Lily.
Yay.
Awesome. Congratulations.
Congrats.
That was great work. Thank you. Now I'd like to also say that congratulations also goes as well to our first runner-up, who is Desiree Dator from SUNY Maritime. And Desiree will be receiving a $5,000 scholarship. Congratulations, Desiree. And our second runner-up is Alex Savage from Kean University. And Alex will be receiving a $250 scholarship. So I'd like to invite everybody to feel free to chat and do virtual applause, and congratulations for all three of our winners.
Yay.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you, Barbara. Thank you. Thank you. And congratulations, Lily. Congratulations, Desiree and Alex. And yes, I will, I guess, close out our event. I just want to thank everyone for attending. And it's so great seeing all these chats popping up. Keep them coming. They deserve all the accolades, all the celebrating. And yeah, so thank you all for being here. And Just wanted to mention a couple things that if you'd like to learn more about Manomet and our various programs, please visit us at manomet.org. There's a lot of different things that we do in our organization, and we're also currently accepting applications for next year's U360 class. So if you know any college students who might be interested, please spread the word. And I just want to say thank you again to Nadia, our 3 judges, and to Barbara, and just a huge round of applause and congratulations to all of the students as they now officially become alums of the U360 program. So huge applause for everybody. And again, another congratulations for Lily, Desiree, and Alex. And I hope today has given you all a healthy helping of hope and optimism. Thank you for being here. And if you would like to talk with me or any of the students at this time, we're going to have a little virtual reception, and you can stick around and we can enable your audio. Otherwise, I hope you all have a great evening, and we hope to see you again soon.